What's up guys, I wanted to do a quick series on reverse engineering APIs. If you don't actually know how to set up Minim proxy, we're going to go through that right now. It's pretty simple. I'm using the web version that I got from Microsoft Store, but you can use any version you want. Now that I'm editing my video, I should probably specify that you can use Burp Suite or Minim proxy. It doesn't really matter, you can use either or, but you don't have to use both at the same time. It's really just whatever you feel more comfortable using. I personally use Burp Suite, which I'll get into in just a second here, as you'll see, but personally, it doesn't really matter. I use Burp Suite, like I said, you can use either or. This is a local server that's listening on all interfaces for any requests coming in through port 8080. You're going to want to turn off your Windows Defender firewall too, because that will block any outgoing or incoming requests. And then you want to go onto your phone, go down here to this configure HTTP proxy, and then connect to your computer. If you don't know how to find this address, and the port is always going to be 8080, but this address is going to depend on your network, you can type in the command ipconfig in the terminal, and then you'll see a bunch of different options, but you're either looking for Ethernet or Wi-Fi. If it says Ethernet adapter Ethernet, this is probably going to be your Ethernet, just find whatever looks right. This is the local IP address of your computer, which this server is listening on all interfaces. That includes the local interface right here. So if you connect to the right port, then all of the traffic will be routed through your phone through this as a man-in-the-middle attack. This is really not super complex and is really easy to do. SSL pinning is more what is known to be harder. And then on your phone or whatever device that you're using to do this, go to minim.it, and then if you see anything other than this, then it's working. But if you see this, then you probably have some kind of firewall issue. You probably need to work around that. If it worked, then you'll see something like this. Choose your device and then install that certification. If you don't know how to install a CA cert, just look it up on YouTube or something. After you do all of that, you should start to see requests coming through like this. And that's basically how you set up Minim proxy. Pretty simple, right? Now that you know how Minim proxy works, we're going to go ahead and start with Burp Suite and learn a little bit about it because it's a good tool too. So once you start up, really for any kind of API reversing, all you're really going to need is proxy and repeater, same thing as we saw in Minim proxy. And for this example, instead of connecting to my phone, I'm just going to open their browser and then try to go to TradingView. We can go ahead and turn intercept on, and then as you can see, we're intercepting different kinds of traffic. I'm going to go ahead and click on Apple here, and a request we should get is for some kind of data. You can see we can forward that one. One of these is going to be asking for some data. We can go back into the HTTP history to see what it actually responds with, but we can just do this for a little bit to try and see if we can find it here. So far I'm just seeing a lot of JavaScript and a lot of SVGs. Other than that, not a whole lot. And here, this request right here is a bunch of different information on a bunch of different cryptos. Now what we can do is we can go ahead and do copy as curl command, go back into Insomnia, launch this up real quick, add a new request, and then just paste that in, send that, and it looks like we got another error. Sorry, that fucking data was wrong. I don't know why it came out like that. I think it's because I copied it as a curl command. But now that I sent it, it responds with all the proper data. Now if you just start writing documentation and playing with it, you can start actually writing and having a full documentation of how the API works. That's kind of the entire point of API reverse engineering. So here's just a quick example of it. I'm sure if I took my time, I could find out a bunch of different things. So it looks like with the public API, the max coins you can get is 9. It was originally set at 6, but now it's 9. And we get 9 different coins returned. So I guess we may have to be logged in to further test that. But that's just a good example of how changing different values can result in different things with the API response. Of course, that's a pretty simple thing to understand because it says range right here, and you can only assume if there's 0 and 6 here, and there's only 6 of these, then you can assume if you change that number, it's probably gonna increase the response. And so a cool feature that I think a lot of people should know in Insomnia is you can name these requests. So I'm gonna say this one is crypto coins, just like that. and that is a post request to respond with different kind of crypto coins. And you can actually add documentation right into it, and then you can export all of this at the end. So now that you know how to use Burp Suite, we're going to talk about one more thing, and that's the repeater. What I just showed you, I was using Insomnia as the repeater, but Burp Suite also has the same feature. So we can go ahead and just send this to repeater, send that, and we'll get the same thing back. And even if we change that one value was at 6 and we change it to 9, you see we have 6 here. Send that request again, now we have 9. You can use Burp Suite or you can use Minim Proxy. I don't really care. I personally use Burp Suite just because it's a lot more built, or it's a lot better built in my opinion. And in the next section, you'll see me actually log into TradingView and try and extract data using my token. Or at least I can only assume using a token from what I've seen from previous requests, but we'll see because this is the first time I'm reversing this API. Along with that, I'll be adding documentation to each of the requests and making it open source on my GitHub. Welcome to the section of the video where we're probably going to be spending hours reversing this API here. To explain what I plan on doing is just logging into an account using the Burp Suite, this Chromium browser that they implement into Burp Suite. I don't know what it's exactly called, but and I'm going to try and implement some kind of token where you can log into your account if that's possible. If not, we can just get data publicly. Either way, along the way, I'll be doing I'll be searching the entire API system for all kinds of things, along with writing documentation for it. Every time I save a new endpoint, I'll start the video and talk a little bit about it and then continue reversing it. This is just to save me from editing a lot of stuff out. As of for now, I'm probably just going to go live on TikTok and start reversing. So as you guys can see, I got a lot done and I didn't make a video about it because I was actually streaming on TikTok. But we have 2 working requests and 3 that I'm working on. These are all public requests. I haven't logged in just yet. I'm going to save that for another night because I'm super tired right now. I've started a little bit of documentation and I plan to add to it. With that being said, I want to talk about a few things that I noticed while I was reverse engineering this API. This preset value, by the way, all of the JSON is just about the same. As you can see, it's the same format. We have this preset here that is kind of marking some important thing on this endpoint. We're going to have to find all of them. I'm not exactly sure how, but we'll find a way. The way I noticed this is this section is making a, or this request is making a unusual volume preset request, while a request that I found that I sent to the repeater has volume leaders. Now both of them work, they just return 2 different things. They won't work on Insomnia for some reason, but they will here, as you can see. They'll still return values. As of for now, whenever I get a little bit of work done on it, I'll post this onto GitHub, but of course by then this video won't even be up by then, but it'll be on GitHub so you can go check it out. As of for now, I'm done reversing for tonight. I'll see you in the morning whenever I get back on to work again. What's up guys, here's my first update. I'm doing this in different parts. It's now the morning time and I just went live and knocked out a bunch of different endpoints. As you can see, we have 6 working endpoints and 4 non-working ones. To explain some of the new ones, I tried to log in and as you can see, this one didn't work. I'm not exactly sure why. We're gonna have to work on it a little bit more. I think I found this one last night, so I won't go over it, but we have the brokers trading panel. There's a bunch of different brokers, I assume. Not exactly sure. It's just a bunch of different brokers that they support. It's got children objects about that I assume are only descriptions. I'm not exactly sure. I'll look into it some more later. But here we have indicators, a whole bunch of indicators you can request. We have top conversations, which is just some news and information of people talking. You can get a bunch of different information from there. And we have this. I don't know what this is, if I'm being honest. There's a lot of different data here, and it's not in a certain form. It's not in a format that I've seen before. I was gonna ask ChatGPT, but I have a VPN on right now. I'll do that later whenever I come back, but as of for now, I'm not exactly sure. But those are some of the requests that I have gotten working. We'll see. As of now, the public API is just about pretty much done. Like, I haven't seen a whole lot else of anything that would be useful. Yes, there's other responses, but it's just shit that nobody cares about. As of now, here's where we are. I haven't written any more documentation, but I will later tonight whenever I hop back on and work on it. But we've gotten pretty far tonight, or today, sorry. But there's really nothing else to find, if I'm being honest. I've been through everything. The search is the same as you would with just requesting different kinds of data, so it's pretty simple. So here's update number 4 or 5 or whatever. It's like day 3 of working on this project, and I'm getting tired of it. Though there is a certain thing I do want to talk about. Out of all of the requests that I've already found, as you can see, only one of them uses a JWT token. Now I'm 100% sure there's more to be found that use a JWT token, though just for now, why isn't the base security a JWT token? What's going on here? Why are all of the other requests public, and why is this one using a JWT token? So I wanted to show you guys how I decoded it and how you can do it on most websites as well. As you can see, these 3 of the same request, well, basically the same request, I have to decipher them. They both are sending different things. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is, but eventually that's what I'm supposed to find out. All it's returning is success and the payload, which is empty. So I'm gonna keep playing around with it, seeing what I can do. But as of for now, that's just something I wanted to talk about. Here you can see this is the same JWT token that I had earlier, decoded from base64. Here we have a bunch of encrypted information, and here is the basic decrypted or decoded base64 header that we're working with here. If we take that code and then paste it into here, it decodes all of it for us and shows us exactly what it looks like. To talk a little bit about a JWT token is just a JSON web token. It's really just a compact URL safe way of transporting information between 2 parties. A JWT token contains 3 different things. That's a header, a payload, and a signature. They're both all 3 of them are separated by periods. The header contains a lot of needed information to decode it. We have stuff like metadata about the token type, the algorithms used to secure it, and usually a KID, which is the key identifier that's used to actually get all the information out of the signature. Next, we have the actual payload, which you can see here. This is just where all the information is stored. This has stuff like issuer, subject, expiration time, and issued at. This is all stuff that is just used for logging in most websites. Along with the payload, of course, holds needed information such as owner ID, shared, or just other information that the website may need. And the last part is the signature part. This is just used to verify the integrity of the token and ensure its authenticity. It's made by taking the encoded header, encoded payload, and a secret or private key. The signature is then used to verify that the token has been tampered with and generated by the trusted party. Generally, JWT tokens are used by APIs to just be a way of authentication. There's many different types of algorithms you could use to encrypt these values. So to recap, all a JSON web token is a JSON format of a token that contains information securely. Usually on most websites, it'll be a base64 encoded thing that says, JWT, it's in the headers, it's in a query or something of that format. If you decode that, you have the algorithm type, the KID, which is used to decrypt it, and the type, which is of course JWT. And you may be wondering, where can I use this? Well, you can cross-reference some of these different values and see if it's used in anywhere in any of the requests to verify yourself, just as an easier way to get around all of those issues. But as you can see, here's what it looks like right now. This is all it really is. I just wanted this on the README to make sure everyone understood what a JWT token is and how specifically TradingView implements them into their website. As far as that goes, I'm just going to keep reverse engineering and seeing what I can find, cross-referencing everything and seeing if there's anything I can really use. As of for now, there's nothing really to tell you about. I've got a few more working endpoints, but I'm just going to keep working on it. So since this video has gotten ridiculously long, I want to go ahead and end it here and make it a 2 or maybe even 3-part series, so it's easier for me to edit and easier for you guys to watch, so you get the content a little faster and you don't have to wait, because I've been hyping up this course a lot, but I mean there's just not enough time. It takes a while to reverse engineer an API. With that being said, everything that I've found so far is pretty obvious. I found a bunch of different endpoints. Some of these aren't actually logins, some of these are public. So like this one right here, this one is public. So there's just a lot of organizing I've got to do. I'm not very good with documentation, as you can see. I've got a lot more to write, and I just haven't sat down to write it because documentation is really fucking boring. But I'm doing this all for you guys, so I can release the documentation, and if people really like this project, I plan to release an Python API wrapper for it to automate a lot of it. There's not a whole lot to touch on, just gotta keep working at it. If you really like this series, go join my Discord or go check out my other socials. I do videos on TikTok about this all the time. Like I said earlier in the video, this is on my GitHub, and as soon as I release this video, all of the updated documentation will be up on my GitHub, updated as well. So if you want to go check out the current updated version, you can. I'm just going to continue to work on it and push as much information out there as I can. So if anyone would like to fork it or edit some of the things in my code, I may merge it, I may do something with that, but as of for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in part 2 whenever I hopefully get a little bit further in reverse engineering the TradingView API.